Welcome to Needy and Normal. I'm your host, Ashley Levering, mom, wife, and life coach. After hours of coaching and learning from my own life, one thing is clear: meeting your needs is essential for a better life. Here, we'll talk about your needs and not only learn to accept them, but also tend to them without guilt. Let's get needy. I am trying something different. It's Saturday morning, and when I'm recording this, nobody needs me for the moment. On Saturday and Sunday mornings, as long as there's nothing crazy going on or I'm not needed right then and there, I let the kids go downstairs and play on their own or watch TV, and I sleep. Or if I decide it's time to get up, I take a little time for me. It is wonderful. And this happens on my own when my husband's traveling or gone for a longer period of time, like he is right now. As I'm recording this, he's in Phoenix and I'm home in Wisconsin with our kids. And it's really crucial time. Anyways, I'm being kind to myself. I'm taking my time. I'm trying something. You can wake up with me. I'm a little nervous that the kids are going to come up here and bug me, but that's real life. And what are you doing right now? Are you in your closet? Anyways, this episode's really important because it's about kindness. Now, I'm not just going to talk about being kind to other people. I'm going to talk about being kind to yourself. And let's get a little geeky and talk about the science behind it. Don't you want to understand what kindness can do to our brains? I do. It's fascinating. So let's come on a little Saturday morning journey about kindness. When I was 20, I was traveling abroad on semester at sea. Look it up. It's the coolest program you could ever do as a college student, in my opinion. And one of our countries, there were 10 stops on this incredible cruise, basically, where we learned at sea. And when we stopped, we explored. We went out and got to know these different countries. And I could give you the entire list. Check the show notes. I'll give you the whole list. But this stop was in India, Chennai, India. There is a huge, huge poverty population in Chennai. It's just amazing because there's parts of India that you would think everyone's royal, and then there are parts of India where people are living in their own filth, and it is wild to see both of those things within a week. And no matter where I was or who I came across, they were the kindest people I'd ever been around in my life. There was nothing that would stop them from showing kindness, smiling, being welcoming. It blew my mind. I had never seen that level of kindness in my life. And this is only part of the story. So we're traveling by train to go to Agra, which is where the Taj Mahal is, which you have to see, of course, which is amazing. That's a whole story in itself. As we're waiting at the train station to go back to home base, which is where the ship was docked, we were waiting for our train, and across the way, I saw a man with half a body using his hands to drag himself over to a spot I would assume kind of out of the way, right? Because he's on the ground. He could easily get kicked or bumped into being that low to the ground. And so I could see him kind of pulling himself aside to protect himself. And I was trying very hard not to stare, but I had never, ever seen anything like this. And all these questions were swimming around in my head, and I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, like, how does he survive? How does he live without fear? How does he live at all? Like, how does he get his food and water? And truly, I couldn't tell where his body kind of ended because he was wearing a very long shirt. I think so, as it dragged, he was kind of protecting his body. And I was so curious, and I was just in awe. And he was smiling. He just looked happy. And it blew my mind because you would think in that situation that it would be so easy to just hate the world and be mad at everyone and smiling. And it wasn't the kind of smile where I thought, oh, he's lost his mind, he must be crazy. I did not go there, not once. This was a genuine happy man. And I've been a brave person my whole life, not because it comes naturally, but because I've practiced it. And this is one of those circumstances. I wanted to get closer. I wanted to talk to him. I just had this urge to connect with this incredible human living life like he was, with what appeared to be a happy attitude. I found out our train was not going to come for quite a while. I think we had to wait for like 30 or 40 minutes. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to take an opportunity here. Friends of mine saw me walking. I had to go all the way around because he was on the other side of the tracks. And friends of mine saw me walking. They're like, Ashley, what are you doing? I was like, I just have to do this. And so they weren't even sure what I was doing. I wasn't trying to share this experience, I'll be honest. So I find my way around. I had to go down the tracks, up the stairs, over, whatever. It wasn't a super busy train station. We had been traveling for a while, so like I said, I had felt this urge, and I was in a brave place in my life, I suppose, being 20 and traveling. And I make my way over there, and he's waiting for the train, just looking around with this look on his face again. That's just joy. I brought with me a granola bar. I brought with me a $10 bill. I hadn't initially had intentions of donating, but I just made sure it was available if it felt like something he needed. You know, maybe it's a, I assume, right? Assuming's not the best thing to do in most occasions, but I did. I assumed he must be having a hard time. I mean, life on the ground with half, I mean, from the hips down, it looked as if he was just missing his body. And I just imagine, like, how could life be kind to him? How could he get by easily? It couldn't have been easy. So I had intentions of just connecting and saying hello, but I brought a granola bar and a $10 bill because it's food and it's access to more food or things he needs. So I had it ready. And I walked over there. And the other thing I noticed when I was in India is that everybody knows English. In the US, I mean, you're lucky if you learned Spanish or French in middle school or high school, right? And even then, you don't usually continue using it. But in India, you know, it's universal. People know English most of the time. And that impresses me so much. I walk over and I get down as far as I can on the ground and say hello. And he was shocked. He was absolutely shocked. I remember the look in his eyes said something like, you're talking to me. You're noticing me. And then he said almost those exact words, something along the lines of, you're speaking to me. You walked all the way over here to speak to me? And I said, yes, I wanted to connect with you. I wanted to say hello. What I took from that moment was I was being kind to him. I was noticing him. I was looking at him. I was engaging with him. And he had expressed in so many ways that people feared him, that showing him any kind of kindness, connecting with him at all, was just non-existent because either people feared him, or unfortunately, these aren't rare things to see people struggle when you're in certain parts anywhere, but you're in certain parts of India. So they would just look past him. I said, I do have some food and money if that's something you need. And his eyes got big again. And he said, this is the most remarkable part. Yes, those things will help me, but I'm living a full life. And I'm thinking, what? You have half a body. How can you say that? How can you believe that your life is full? And this is seriously one of the most impactful moments in my entire life, that someone who literally lives on the ground can say, I have a full life. And I said, one of the things I noticed about you was the smile on your face. You just seem joyful. And he goes, I am joyful. I was in awe. So 2 things I took from that, and I did leave him with the granola bar and the $10 bill, which if you look up currency, that goes a long way in India, or at least it did then. I said, thank you for sharing your joy with me. And he said, thank you for connecting with me. And I don't think he used the word connecting, but essentially he was so grateful for my kindness, but it wasn't just giving him something to eat and some money. It was noticing him. It was acknowledging him. It meant so much to him. I learned something incredible, absolutely incredible in that moment, that kindness matters. And sometimes all we need is a smile and to share some joy. So I have taken that lesson with me. I have told that story many times because it is wild. It is wild. And it is real, and it has stuck with me for these last 18 years. It's been a long time. And so because of that lesson I learned, I have been a smiler. I will smile at everyone. The grocery store, the post office, people at school, when I'm picking up the kids, at the airport, at the mall. And you know who I smile at the most is the people who are not smiling. Because sometimes you just need to share some joy. So yeah, I'm that girl at the grocery store who's having a conversation with the person checking me out and holding up the line because I'm showing them some kindness and I can't help it. And I won't apologize for it because we all need it. You never know when someone could use a little of your joy or is just having a hard time, and connecting with them anyway, even if it is just a smile, it could lift someone right up out of their lower spirits and into a better place. You just don't know. And everyone is going through something. Everyone is going through something. I firmly believe that there is a little piece of sadness or pain that we all take with us wherever we go in life. And granted, there are tools and ways to manage those things, and someone might have 100% a fantastic, fabulous day one day, and then the next day that pain or sadness might creep in, and they might be out somewhere, and you might be the person they catch eyes with. And if you send them a little bit of kindness, send them that smile, it could lift them right back up out of that place that feels so low and heavy, and right back into, oh yeah, I'm okay. You could be the reset and the reconnect to joy that somebody needs. And let's not forget what kindness does for us inside of our own bodies, our own minds. When I walked away from that man, our train was only moments away from coming, and that moment would be over forever. It's one of those fleeting moments, you know, you'll never return to. So I've held it in my heart. And I remember when the train was coming and I knew that moment was ending, I gave him one more look and a big smile. And he had the biggest smile on his face. And there was just that instant sparkle almost, that human interaction that was undeniably good. It was just pure and good. And that was it. And that was the end. And it has stayed with me. And you know what? It will stay with me forever. Because it wasn't just me showing him kindness, seeing him, connecting with him, helping him. It was him teaching me this level of joy and this possibility of being happy as a choice. That was a lesson in self-kindness to me too, because here I am thinking I'm the one giving and showing kindness, but I learned kindness in return. I learned what connection and a smile and sharing joy does. And it felt really good. So let's talk about why it feels good. Acts of kindness produces oxytocin, the love hormone, which aids in lowering blood pressure, improves heart health, and it also increases our self-esteem and our optimism, which is extra helpful when we're anxious or shy in a social situation. Okay, so this is about witnessing kindness. Can you imagine the level of being in it, being the doing of the kindness? So you don't just feel it from someone being kind to you or watching someone be kind to another person. It's like next level when you're the one receiving the kindness or giving the kindness. It's actually good for your health, truly. From another source, I'll state these in the show notes, but from another source, it talks about how kindness can help you live longer. It can actually extend your lifespan. Kindness also is the helper's high. It's rewarding. It can light you up. Kindness can also give you energy. About half of participants in one study reported that they feel stronger and more energetic after helping others. Many also reported feeling calmer and less depressed with increased feelings of self-worth. What? Who doesn't want to increase their level of self-worth? This is from UC Berkley. Kindness decreases pain. It can actually produce those endorphins, right? Which is the brain's natural painkiller. Kindness can decrease stress. Here's a fun fact. Perpetually kind people have 23% less cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and age slower than the average population. Maybe that's partly how I manage my stress. You could do it too. This is a big one, and I think there's going to be an entire episode on anxiety because I feel like we all have a certain level of anxiety. But listen to this. Kindness can help with anxiety. This is another study, a group of highly anxious individuals performed at least 6 acts of kindness a week, and after a month, there was a significant increase in positive moods, relationship satisfaction, and a decrease in social avoidance and in socially anxious individuals. This is from the University of British Columbia. But the point being, when you show kindness and experience kindness, it can decrease your anxiety. What? There's also a study out of Case Western Reserve. My dad went to law school there. Fun fact. But this is from the medical school. They say that everything from life satisfaction to self-realization and physical health is significantly improved with kindness. It can lower depression. Kindness is so powerful. When you show kindness, when you actually perform acts of kindness, it can reduce blood pressure, and therefore oxytocin is known as the cardioprotective hormone. It protects the heart by lowering blood pressure. Actual. This is fact. These are things that have been proven. I found this incredible website, organization, The Science of Kindness from Random Acts of Kindness, a foundation. And I just love, go poke around on their website. It's just amazing, the science behind it. It also increases serotonin. This is why this is the feel good chemical, right? It heals your wounds, it calms you down, it makes you happy. Kindness is powerful. Think about my story. I wish I knew this man's name. It's my only regret. And I don't love having regrets because life is about living and learning, not regretting. Think about how much that impacted me. I was 20 years old. It has lived in me, that story. And not just the story and the memory, and like visually, I can still go back and see it in my mind's eye, but the feeling that I got from it, the feeling he must have gotten from it, because he was so expressive about just the sheer fact, like, you came all the way over here. And it was a shared moment of kindness, right? And like I said, it stayed with me. I bet you can go in your memory and think of a time when you were especially kind to someone and it really helped. It could have been as simple as a smile, or you could have gone completely out of your way to do something kind for someone. And it wasn't for anything in return except just to be kind. And think about the impact it left on them. And think about a time when you were the receiver of kindness. Could have been as small as a smile, could have been as big as a large act of kindness, a favor someone did for you. I think about kindness in the sense of when someone helps me with the kids, when someone offers that, it's taking on a burden or a responsibility that isn't theirs. And wow, I mean, wow, that's kind. So think of a time when you were the person receiving kindness and a time when you were the one giving kindness. How powerful that is. One thing that has to be mentioned is self-kindness. So if you think about how powerful it is to receive and give kindness, think about how powerful it is to show yourself kindness. Most of my sessions with clients, the last thing I will say to them is be kind to yourself. It's like my last little dose of advice. And not that I'm dishing out advice, that's not exactly the coaching method, but it happens, right? And I'm proud of that one because it matters. Be kind to yourself. We have the power to change our own world, our own attitude, our own thoughts, our own feelings by being kind to ourselves. So what does that look like, right? What does it look like to be kind? And granted, it could be personal and individual, it could change. But it could be as simple as pausing and taking a breath or a few breaths. I like to say if you slow your breath out, you are showing yourself kindness because you are calming your mind, you're calming your body, you're giving yourself nourishment, right? These little acts of kindness that we can do for ourselves, they don't have to be big, but they can create huge impact. So I'll leave you with this. Think of a small or big way that you can show yourself kindness. Think of a small or big way that you can show someone else kindness. and make it a really solid habit, because it could change your life. And truly, it could change someone else's life. All right, I'll leave you here. I'm going to go feed my kids. I think they're probably hungry by now. Have a great day. Thanks for listening. Be kind to yourself. Thank you for listening to Needy and Normal. Please take a moment to leave me a review. It would mean the world to me. And subscribe, then you won't miss the weekly episodes. For information about coaching, visit ablifecoaching.com. Until next week, take care.